Ready.
Good evening. Welcome to the Board of Liquor License Commissioners for Baltimore City's evening docket. Today is Thursday, February 28th at 5 p.m. Tonight, the board will hear regular items, new, transfer, expansion, and hardship application requests. If you have an electronic device, I would ask that you put it on vibrate or silence it now. When your case is called, please step forward to the microphones, state your name clearly into the microphones, and if you're going to be providing testimony, please be prepared to be sworn in by our court reporter. Mr. Chair, I'm going to start with the first case, calling Donald Summerhill, Summerhill Incorporated, trading as Brewster's Tavern, 2201 Gulf Street. It's a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license. A request for hardship extension under the provisions of the Alcoholic Beverages Article 122202.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. Sean Harvey, I represent the applicant, Mr. Summerhill, and Summerhill, Inc. This is a hardship request. It was timely filed December 11th.
Great. If we could have Mr. Summerhill just raise his right hand and get sworn, just in case.
You swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please continue, Mr. Harvey.
Thank you. Mr. Summerhill was selling his building and license at the same time, but it didn't work out that way. The person who bought the building didn't want the license. The settlement on the sale of the building occurred on August 2nd, and so on or about December 11th, I sent a hardship request so that Mr. Summerhill can continue to try to sell that license. He's actually sold it, and it's already been published, I believe. A hearing date hasn't been set, but we're here just in case that falls through. So we're asking for the 180 days, although we won't need it.
Great. Well, no, I appreciate that, and that appreciate the proffer, and I think that explained it quite well. Okay. Commissioners, do you have any questions?
No questions.
Okay. Having heard the proffer from council and having received a timely filed hardship letter request, I would approve the hardship extension for 180 days, not to exceed 360.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
We have to wait for the other two. I concur and vote to approve the request for hardship extension.
I also concur.
Thank you,
Okay.
Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Calling the next case, calling Diana Calderon, Los Tres Hermanos 2, LLC, trading as Los Tres Hermanos, 3736 through 38 East Lombard Street. This is a Class B beer, wine license. A request for transfer hardship extension under the provisions of the Alcoholic Beverages Article 12-1705B.
Good
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good
Your
afternoon. Yeah.
Good evening, Your Eminence, fellow members of the board.
It's a little running joke we have. I think Mr. Previs laughs a little bit louder and longer than I do, but it's fair enough. Good evening. Good
I'm
afternoon.
sorry.
At least he didn't say acting.
I know. Well, that's why I think he did that. It's just,
Chairman.
I had to bump it up about 3 notches to make up for the acting last time. In any event, on behalf of Ms. Calderon, this is a request for a 90-day extension to complete the transfer. Everything has been done. There may be an email that's required from the Health Department and the Director of Finance, but both of those matters have been completed. The issue that was the holdup was the comptroller. There were 3 months of sales tax reports that were in confusion and an issue of whether there was withholding from the seller. The seller's accountant has now completed all of that. I need to make a phone call to the comptroller's office and make sure that everything's logged in and they email the liquor board. So I'm actually ready to go, hopefully within a day or 2.
great. We think 90 days should do it.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any questions?
No questions.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
Appreciate
Based
that.
on the proffer, I would agree to the transfer hardship extension for 90 days, not to exceed 270.
I too vote to approve the request for transfer of a hardship extension of a transfer.
I concur with this transfer also.
Yeah, we're having a hard time tonight.
I know.
So.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yep.
Thank you.
On the next case, George Daly Cookhouse LLC, trading as Cookhouse, 1501 Bolton Street. This is a Class D beer and wine license, a request for a transfer hardship extension under the provisions of the Alcoholic Beverages Article 121705B.
Good evening, or good afternoon. I keep saying good evening because it's dark and
It
it seems
still
so
afternoon
late.
for a few more minutes. right?
Seems so late in our day, so welcome. Good to see you, Mr. Mister.
Nice to see you,
If
Mr. Chairman.
the folks to your left could raise their right hands.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Great.
If I may proffer, this is a request for hardship extension post-transfer, and I'll let Mr. Daly explain what the current situation is. It basically is a permitting issue, but George, go ahead,
Well,
please.
we're just-
State your name for the record.
My name is George Daly. We're just, we need an extension so we can complete the work on the restaurant, basically. There's an extensive amount of work to be done to the place, so we're remodeling from ground up.
So did you discover things along the way? Is that what happened?
Well, we didn't think it was gonna be that much, but yes, it's a very old building, and it needs more work than we anticipated, so we need more time.
How much more time, you think?
As much as we can get
As
under
much
the
as we can
statute.
get, yeah.
Honestly, to be candid with the board, we're likely to have to file a transfer application to toll the running, because I don't think my calculation of the statute, we get to late May. I don't think there's any way we probably can't complete the renovations until probably September or thereabouts, so. But we want to do one incrementally, one step at a time. George, explain also basically the pause or the lull in being able to get anything done during the holidays,
Well,
et
yeah, the
cetera.
holidays, and we had to pause for, Christmas, for Thanksgiving.
Your
and
contractors, in other words,
and the
wouldn't perform.
contractors, we only have one contractor that depends on the electrician, that depends on the plumber, and the plumber doesn't come, and the AC, I don't know if you know how that is, but it's very slow. It's very slow. Yeah.
The Dalys invest in the community. They live there. They have another restaurant in Bolton Hill doesn't have a license, and they live a few blocks away. Their neighbors will expect to be their customers. So this is something they want to get done and do it correctly.
Yeah, and I do recall the transfer, when the original transfer, and I know that you were very invested in the community, so I
Yep.
appreciate that, and I'm sure it's a fairly significant project you have on your hands, more than you bargained for, so
Yep.
I feel for you. Any questions,
No
Commissioner?
question.
Just want to say, knowing what's involved when you build an old structure, you try to rehab it. I agree. You got so many
It's-
trades that depend on the other trade before you can move
Yeah,
forward. So
yeah,
I can see how that can
yeah.
be.
If my contractor would be doing everything, that things will move along, but he doesn't do plumbing, he doesn't do electricity, so we depend on other people, and it's very slow.
And we're also located in a CHAP Historic District,
Yeah.
so we have to wait for the neighborhood to approve what we want to do to the outside.
Ma'am, your
Yep.
name?
I'm Jessica Daly.
Jessica Daly. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you.
That's the story.
Great. Anything else?
Nothing else.
further? Okay, so based upon the testimony, I would approve this this hardship extension up to 90 days, not to exceed 270 days under the statute.
I concur and vote to approve the hardship extension up to 90 days.
I concur with the findings.
And please feel free to, continue to work with our staff.
Okay.
If there's anything we can do to help.
Thank you.
Mr. Akris
Thank-
has been very helpful. He gave me a few hints. I've been doing it a long time, but I don't know every nuance, so I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good
I'm
evening.
glad that these hearings aren't always at 5 o'clock.
Me too.
It was gridlock getting here.
Yeah, no,
Oh.
we tried to do this for community groups and.
Oh, I
and it's
understand.
just- But yes, I understand. Traffic wasn't pleasant, but thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Larry's here. Larry's always here.
Calling the last case on the docket, Keong Lee, Wawa Liquors Incorporated, trading as Wawa Liquors, 1813 Pennsylvania Avenue. This is a Class A beer, wine, and liquor license. A request for a transfer hardship extension under the provisions of the Alcoholic Beverages Article 121705B.
Good evening. or
Good evening, Commissioners. J.U. representing the
Ki Jung Lee.
Mr. Ki Jung Lee.
Please raise your right hand.
Yeah.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Great.
Thank you. First of all, please accept my apology for being late. The traffic was terrible.
No, that's what we hear. No worries. We start these at 5 on a quarterly basis, and, we don't have control over the room, so we do what we can, but we are also trying to be as flexible and patient as possible, so we appreciate your patience.
Thank you. This is a hardship extension request for 90 days. Basically, Mr. Lee is a current licensee at 4300 Bel Air. Initially, he entered into a contract to sell that business, which Mr. Kadansky represented, and the hearing was approved on that sale. So we were ready to, Mr. Key was ready to go to closing to sell the business, but then again, the buyer breached the contract. He just decided not to buy. So by then, Mr. Key had already applied to, had entered into a contract to purchase another liquor store, which is this one, which is 1813 Pennsylvania Avenue. And that came before the board and was approved for transfer on August 9th, 2018. And since then, fortunately, Mr. Lee was able to find another buyer for his Bel Air location. And that went through smoothly, but for the sales tax license. We promptly applied for the sales tax license back on December 29th of 2018, and we did obtain the sales tax license number, but the SDAT on 301 is Preston Street. They do not give out the sales tax license copy anymore. They mail it to us. So we were waiting for it and waiting for it. And that is all that is required to pick up the license for the Bel Air location, which will remove Mr. Lee from that license, which will allow him to be on the license for the Pennsylvania Avenue. And that license, it is ready to be picked up, but for the fact that he's still on the license for the Shamrock. So I made numerous requests to the Comptroller's office to send us the license. I asked for the duplicates like twice. I sent those emails, and they did reply. They said, we'll mail it out to you. And it still haven't been received. So, I don't know what the liquor board's policy is, but the fact that the sales tax license number has been obtained, would that be sufficient? Or
Wait, so let me make sure I understand. Let's take a step back for a second and make sure we understand.
Yes.
I think I do, but I want to, for the record. So Mr. Lee is currently a licensee at a location on Bel Air Road.
Yes.
Okay? And he was in the process of selling that, and as he was selling it, he was also in the process of purchasing another license. Yes. Okay? And something fell through on the Bel Air as he was purchasing this
Yes.
license on Pennsylvania Avenue. Okay. But can you explain to me then what the sales tax license relates to the Bel Air location?
Yes.
But I'm not, why is that a concern for this other than it closing the transaction? And it's in the mail, right? So
Yes. So in order to actually pick up the license and remove Mr. Lee from the license for the Bel Air location, we need to submit a copy of the sales tax license copy.
So this is the reason why you need an extension
Yes.
on the Pennsylvania.
Yes.
Right? Because you haven't closed on this deal because you're waiting on the sales tax information from the comptroller's office.
For the
That's
Bel
it.
Air.
For the Bel Air.
Bel Air.
Close on that, okay.
Yes. And as soon as we can remove Mr. Lee's name from the Bel Air license, we are ready to pick up his license. Everything's ready on that side. And we just don't understand why this is not being received. We made numerous requests, and I'm still working on it. And actually, the CPA for the Shamrock, the Bel Air location, he called the Comptroller's office, and he confirmed that it should be received by Friday, which is tomorrow. But we'll see.
Okay. All right. Commissioners, any questions?
No questions?
Okay. Based upon the evidence, I would approve the transfer hardship extension of 90 days, not to exceed 270 days.
Thank
I
you.
concur and vote to approve the hardship extension for this transfer.
I concur with that.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I believe that concludes our evening docket.
Great, thank you.
Board will be in recess until March 14th, 2019 at 10:30 a.m.
Thank you.
I kept saying good evening. I'm like, it feels like it doesn't feel like it's night.
When does evening start?
6, I think.
6.